As I was kind of talking with friends and family about it a little bit, it felt like, this is the decision, it kind of easy to be made. But once I had to, officially start to go in and talk to my administration and then bring my team in and talk to those guys, it was emotional. Wrestling's just been a really major part of my young life and adult life, District 11 wrestling. So when I finally had to go forward and make the decision that it was time to move on, it's been, I don't think painful is the right word, because I know I made the right decision, but it was a challenge. There are a lot of people affected, and a lot of people I care about, and families I care about, and wrestlers. So it wasn't really easy, but it just felt like the time was right.
The question that everybody's going to ask you, people have asked me this, is why? What kind of went into the decision to do it at this time?
Yeah, the why's kind of funny. I remember, thinking, man, it would almost be easier if there was a thing, being upset with the administration or, not that I got in trouble or something like that, but that would have been a clean break. It just started to feel like over the last couple years, one, I just, from holding the job, all it takes to go forward, and you have a standard you set for yourself, really, basically, about how you want to perform that job. And I started feeling myself pulling back from some of those responsibilities, and then knowing what needs to be done and really looking inside and thinking about how much I can really put forth right now. It was just the right move needs to be to back out instead of, potentially do the position with, without my whole heart in it. So it was tough to make, but I want to make sure that job's done right, and there was only one way for me to do it, and once I couldn't put in that much time, it just felt like it was right.
I guess it's depending on who potentially takes over, but Don Roan retires and he resurfaces with Chad over at Saucon, and you got guys that are stepping away. Steve Powell steps away from Easton, now he's back with Jody. Is there a chance to potentially, if the right guy takes the job, that maybe you just do what you can and you're an assistant with these guys?
I certainly hope so. Those lifers are crazy, though. Don Roan, Steve Powell, all those are the legends in my mind growing up watching those guys coach. And to see them still out there in the tournaments, in the corner, that is a ridiculous amount of dedication to the sport of wrestling. It's impressive to me that they can continually over and over again put in that much time. I would say I probably go in hiding for a little bit here and just sort of kind of get my life rolling here on the outside, but I absolutely hope that whoever gets this job would allow me to come in and, maybe participate a little bit or help out as much as I can, sort of on my time.
How much do you think you will be involved in the selection of the new guy?
I am not involved in the selection. So I had talked with our administration a little bit about that, and unofficially, I think I'm somewhat of an advisor, sort of, as in what do you think about these people, or what's your honest take on these guys as coaches? And I can do that, but I don't want to be a decision maker as far as who gets this job moving forward. But yeah, I would definitely be there for them to answer any questions they have. I mean, wrestling in the Lehigh Valley is pretty tight niche community, so we know a lot about each other, personal lives, effort put in. So I'm optimistic about the candidates that might apply, and hopefully I could be some help to our administration.
It's interesting, a lot of guys will step away when they kind of understand that, hey, we got some years of rebuilding. This is not the case for you. And you're coming off a year where you're named District 11 Coach of the Year. First, let's talk about that. How did that make you feel when you found that out the night of individual districts that you were named, based on the votes from coaches, the District 11 Coach of the Year?
Coaching awards are funny. The kids do well, a coach gets rewarded. I think it's just outstanding for our program and for our kids, and to have my peers kind of look at our program and think that, those guys at Northampton did a good job. It definitely is a good feeling, and I would just want to say, obviously, the head coaching job relies on 1,000 different people putting in their time, sacrificing personal hours to be in there and help our team and help our kids. So that award kind of goes out to everybody. But I'm just proud that our kids were able to step up, and it's a good feeling to know that at least, you know, the other coaches thought that myself and my staff and our kids had done a good job.
I mentioned, you know, the cupboard being bare. It's not the case.
Yeah.
You continue to have great junior high team was the best in the district, one of the best, if not the best in the state. And you've got a guy in Dagan Condomiti that could potentially be a state champ next year. Did that make it even more difficult for you, knowing that you've got so much talent still coming through?
Yeah, it's a little 50-50, you know. I mean, to have to sit back and watch Carson and Dagan and those guys go through their senior year without me, without me supporting them really in the corner, it's a little bit painful situation. I spent a lot of time with those guys, and obviously hope for the best. But on the other token, they're really good senior leaders. They train year round. If there's going to be a set of athletes in place to assist a new coach coming in, those guys can do it, you know. And I just remember like getting the job early on. I think I was like 28 or 29 when I got the job, and you're just thrown into a situation, and there's a lot of change and a lot happening. And to me, if your team's performing well and you have good numbers and you're looked at as having a lot of good talent coming in, that could hopefully alleviate some of those initial concerns for who comes in, because ultimately, whether I'm there or not, as a graduate, I want Northampton wrestling to be the best it can be and win state titles and have national recognition. And, you know, as I said before a little bit, knowing that it was getting more difficult for me to put in that much time, I don't want to be the anchor that might hold any of those guys back, you know. And as much as I can help, the idea that I might be hindering their performance if I'm not doing the job like I had done it in the past was a pretty easy decision. I want these guys in this program to do well, and they're in position to do that. So I'll always be a fan, and hopefully they can get it done next year.